on Jazz FM. This is the Business Breakfast.
At 19 minutes past 6, and here's Michelle McGrade, Chief Investment Officer at TD Direct. Michelle, lots to talk about this morning. Very good morning to you. Thanks for coming on the programme. First of all, in the FT, they're talking about the Chancellor having to banish rigid targets in his autumn statement. I mean, you can sort of understand that. It must be very, very difficult, mustn't it, to be planning in the current climate.
Yes, hello. I don't think it is that difficult, but I suspect he's probably going to enjoy this task because he's going to put his own stamp on things now, the Chancellor. So what he said is that he's not going to meddle, he's going to do big ticket items, but he's not going to make anything too radical a change fiscally, though he is going to pump some money into infrastructure, and he's going to do what he thinks is just enough to keep the economy going and keep some sort of powder dry in case something goes wrong. So yeah, it's going to be difficult, but I think he'll relish the challenge, to be honest.
And the Governor of the Bank of England appears to have had some reassuring words from SW1, if you like. How do you gauge the relationship between the Treasury and the Bank of England now?
I think they've probably mended their differences and they're prepared to move forward. You know, the Bank of England did a great job keeping the country on the straight and narrow when the government, we didn't have a government for a while, and so the Bank of England was there saying we're the steady institution that will make sure nothing goes awry. So you've got to give Mark Carney the chance to step off that podium and move back to being the Bank of England governor, sitting a little bit behind the scenes, and I think that's going to happen going forward.
You're putting forward the argument of stability very well. However, in the United States, we were talking earlier in the programme, the Wall Street Fear Index has jumped. Now it appears as though investors are wondering about what exactly is going to happen. They're worried about a Trump victory and so on. Is this something which is going to transfix us now? And of course, if you want to fold in the Fed meeting today as well, please feel free.
Okay, is it going to transfix us? Absolutely, I think it is. It's on the front page of every paper. Nobody really knows what a Trump victory will be, and everyone's very nervous about it. But what was quite interesting, the previous speaker said that there is a thought that he might actually be good for US business. So there may be, look, it's just going to be really difficult. I'm not going to be out here trying to predict what's going to happen next, but the markets are going to watch it, and they've been a bit complacent about the US election up till now, and it's going to be front of mind. I think the Fed hopefully today will sit in the background and do nothing. There's too much to think about and worry about right now, election-wise and politically-wise. And as they said, they'll probably do something in December.
Okay, Michelle, just for the moment, thanks so much indeed. Here's Gary Clark Jr. and Cold Blooded. It is 26 minutes past 6 o'clock. Let's return to Michelle McGrade and a rather alarming forecast from an economic think tank, one of the many, saying that inflation could reach 4% by the end of next year. That is quite a jump, isn't it, given that we've had such low inflation for so many years? I would suggest that many people will have trouble dealing with that, quite honestly, if it were to take place.
Yeah, so 4% is quite high as a prediction. I've heard sort of 3%, so I haven't read your particular forecast. But yes, inflation is coming back, and it is going to be a shock because we haven't had it for quite some time. So people don't really need to be re-educated about it, because cash, it's going to eat into your cash. It's going to cause prices to go up faster, and so that there's going to be this conundrum: are your wages going to go up as fast as prices?
Indeed, and also as far as interest rate setters are concerned, the conundrum is that if you have low growth and rising interest rates, you get that terrible old thing called stagflation, which I can't remember anybody talking about this since about the 70s, quite honestly.
Yeah, so listen, let's put this into context. We've got interest rates at 0.55%, very low. Okay, so if we get interest rates starting to go up, they're going to still be very low for the next few years. It's very hard to see interest rates back to where they were even 10 years ago. So let's say that we see interest rates, some people are sort of predicting 2 or 3 years out at 2%. That's still very low. The difficult thing will be inflation, and if that can be controlled. And the big factor in all of this is really sterling. So sterling's fallen 16-18% so far this year, and that has caused the boost of inflation. If sterling rises again, and goodness me, it's really hard to say where sterling will go next, but I suspect it will be quite volatile, and that will have an impact on inflation.
Another forecast this morning saying that in fact sterling's got another 5% to lose, but I mean that is, as you say, is all about volatility. Let's talk about Nissan, if we may. Now, we have a leading Japanese business strategist saying that the Nissan deal, in inverted commas, that the UK apparently has pulled off won't make a difference to other companies, particularly Japanese companies looking to the UK. I mean, in days gone by, Margaret Thatcher regarded the UK as an aircraft carrier, didn't she, off Europe, where Japanese companies could come and manufacture, and they did very successfully too. Is this just manufacturers and strategists keeping their powder dry, do you think?
Look, the one thing I think here is that the secrecy around this deal is really not helpful. I think there's clearly been a deal done between the government and Nissan. Nobody's saying a word, and I think that's very wrong. We need a bit more transparency here. But they seem very comfortable. If you listen to the CEO of Toyota, who's actually a bigger company in terms of people they employ in this country, although they're not a manufacturer, they make engines and they do research, they're quite sanguine about the conversation between the government and Nissan. So I kind of got to think that they've probably had their own conversation as well. But if things are going and keeping companies happy, and generally it's a positive thing for the country, so I think everybody's just going with the flow right now, but I don't like this lack of transparency.
Indeed. Michelle McGrade, thanks very much indeed. Michelle McGrade, Chief Investment Officer at TD Direct.